Tressie McMillan Cottom, Thick, and Other Essays. Dive into the captivating and thought-provoking world of Tressie McMillan Cottom's Thick, and Other Essays, revealing the truth about the struggles faced by Black women in contemporary American society. This insightful summary explores McMillan Cottom's journey to embrace the complexities of being a Black woman in a world that prizes whiteness and simplistic beauty standards. Witness the revelations about racial disparities in the medical system, personal encounters with assault, and the challenges Black people face in gaining acceptance. Thick illuminates these issues and more, confronting them head-on with a unique combination of scientific analysis and personal anecdotes.
Thick as a label. In Thick, and Other Essays, Tressie McMillan Cottom reflects on her personal experiences as a thick, Black woman and her journey towards self-acceptance. She describes how she tried to change herself to fit in with societal norms but ultimately realized that she needed to embrace her thickness. McMillan Cottom introduces the concept of thick description, which she uses to make sense of social behavior by understanding its context. Through her essays, she exemplifies thick description by drawing on social science research and her personal experiences to shed light on American society and the experiences of Black women. The importance of status symbols. Tressie McMillan Cottom learnt at a young age that being poor and Black meant dressing well and speaking well to access opportunities, such as securing benefits. Black people and women are judged by a harsher set of standards and acquiring the right status symbols is essential. However, this often means spending money that they do not have. Status symbols can make the difference between employment and unemployment, a good job and a bad job, and even housing and homelessness. As someone from an underprivileged background, McMillan Cottom knew the importance of status symbols in opening doors. Black women's voices. The exclusion of Black women's voices from prestigious publications is glaring amid an industry that floods its pages with banal white male opinions. While such men are afforded the luxury of expressing their sometimes trivial thoughts, Black women struggle to gain a platform to share their more critical perspectives. Even in spaces purported to represent all demographics, there remains an appalling lack of representation for Black women, despite their unique contributions on crucial topics like fascism, which they've experienced firsthand. The neglect of Black women in the medical system. Serena Williams came close to losing her life due to blood clots in her lungs after giving birth. She also had to fight to receive the necessary treatment, highlighting a chronic issue of Black women being neglected by the medical system. The wealthiest country in the world, the United States, has Black women dying in childbirth at rates comparable to those in much poorer countries, which the CDC estimates is 243% higher than white women. Black women are often perceived to be inherently incompetent even when it comes to understanding their own bodies due to the intersecting oppressions of racism, sexism, and classism. Tressie McMillan Cottom's own experience of being dismissed by medical staff due to her race and gender resulted in the loss of her daughter. The medical system needs to address its bias and provide equal care for Black women. Race relations in America. In her book, Thick, Tressie McMillan Cottom examines the significance of Barack Obama's election and reveals that it did not lead to much change in white-Black relations. She argues that Obama's election left white privilege intact by not challenging white Americans to consider their role in systemic inequality and oppression. McMillan Cottom reiterates that white privilege always finds ways to survive and thrive, whether through Obama's presidency or the election of Donald Trump. Beyond special Black. Tressie McMillan Cottom challenges the notion of special Blacks and the dangers it poses to Black identity and opportunity. Tressie McMillan Cottom, a high-achieving Black woman, often encounters people who view her as a special Black person, distinct from regular African Americans from the South. This belief stems from the conflation of Black ethnics, usually African immigrants, with African Americans in higher education. Studies have shown that Black ethnics are often privileged over African Americans, but this reinforces the idea that only special Blacks deserve opportunities. For McMillan Cottom, this belief is dangerous as it implies that not all black people are worthy of opportunity. Moreover, it suggests that high-achieving black people need to claim a different kind of blackness that does not reflect their heritage and experiences. To challenge this narrative, McMillan Cottom refuses to identify as a special black and instead embraces her blackness fully, rejecting any pressure to conform to a certain mold. Ultimately, the notion of special blacks perpetuates harmful stereotypes and undermines the unity and diversity within the black community. McMillan Cottom's story calls for a reimagining of black identity that embraces the full spectrum of black experiences and acknowledges the value of every member of the community. Black girls and women, the victims of intersectional oppression. Tressie McMillan Cottom uncovers the unsettling prevalence of sexual abuse suffered by black girls and young women. The author highlights how being viewed as more mature than they actually are leads to damaging beliefs and attitudes towards them, which ultimately contributes to the mistreatment they endure. Furthermore, the limited methods used to document abuse mean that they are often overlooked. This illuminating read sheds light on the intersecting oppressions faced by black girls and women in modern-day society. Beauty standards and blackness. The book highlights how beauty standards are constructed by excluding blackness, particularly black women's bodies, which are systematically deemed unattractive in society. It discusses how Miley Cyrus's controversial 2013 performance at the MTV Video Music Awards reinforces these exclusionary standards by appropriating an African American dance style known as twerking, using large-bodied black women as props, and positioning whiteness as the ideal beauty. The author also shares personal experiences of being identified as unattractive or wrong due to having a large, dark-skinned body. The book argues that beauty standards not only harm black women but also reproduce existing social inequalities by granting more privileges to those perceived as beautiful and reinforcing white privilege.
In Thick and Other Essays, Tressie McMillan Cottom magnifies the day-to-day struggles of black women, capturing the ways they navigate and resist biases pervading all aspects of society. Exploring key issues, such as the persistent racial bias in the medical system, the importance of status symbols for survival, and the reinforcement of white beauty standards, this book takes the reader on a compelling journey through the rich tapestry of McMillan Cottom's life experiences. Engaging, insightful, and unabashed, Thick and Other Essays elevates the voices of black women and produces a powerful and resonant call to action for change.